You like it?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your favorite uncle and Captain Eli here on Keep Moving, the most ADHD podcast I could ever come up with.
Keep moving. It sounds like a jazzercise podcast.
Does it?
Yeah. No, I think we're gonna get a lot of cross appeal to people who think it's like a jazzercise exercise, something like that. Anyway.
I was like, I never did jazzercise.
Nothing on that. But how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
I feel that.
Yeah, working multiple jobs. I'm so run down.
2 jobs, man.
Hey, man, if I didn't like buying property and assets, I'd probably be something far worse. So,
Real estate.
man, I don't know what's going on with my camera. It just keeps going out for some reason.
But yeah, going all right here. Not too bad. The weather's been super nice. We had some forest fire smoke last week, which was lingering around and really till Thursday.
Oh, good.
So it was a little. Apparently, Oregon has one of the largest fire in its history. My brother's down there fighting it as a volunteer firefighter. So
2 million acres.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, but I always wonder. I was like, "Where's my 40 acres and a mule?"
It's on fire.
I just want my 40 acres and a mule. Why won't Oregon come up off of some of its land and give it back to those people who were promised 40 acres and a mule?
It's a good question.
They're so liberal there. I mean, just give us your land. Give us the trees, Give us a contract for your trees. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll take your timber.
There's something to be said there, but
Since they didn't want to let black people in the first place. So.
Doing land acknowledgements is a lot cheaper, so.
Ooh. We acknowledge that this was the property of the Watusi tribe. And I'm like,
it's my favorite thing in the world. It's annoying to everybody, I think. Because the people who want change,
Karen white liberal thing that anyone could ever do.
The people who want change are like, well, obviously that's not enough. The people who don't like to be reminded of all the bad things white people have done throughout history are pissed off about it. Pleases nobody. Perfect.
Yeah.
Centrists love it. I assume.
Why won't they just acknowledge the land that is theirs?
It's free 99. Oh no.
Yeah, they don't like free 99 in some places. Sorry about that. I had to adjust.
Oh, good. But yeah, what's going on in the world right now? I've been I've been paying attention, but
So this last 2 weeks, we have seen Mayor Mondami in the national press beyond belief.
Yeah.
Not because of what he did, not because of what he won, but just because he started the revolution of the liberal leftist cult of socialism and
communism
and fascism. And I'm like, hey guys,
those are a lot of ideas. They don't really mix together.
Yeah. Well,
they just want to.
There's things there's aspects to them that everybody likes, right?
Sure, but the critics of the movement want to say they're doing the bad thing, but they can't say why, right? What's the bad thing Mondami's doing? He's fixing the streets communistically, right?
Oh yeah,
He's
communists.
He's building pools in a socialist way. It's like you're someone to paraphrase, somebody. It's like you keep telling people all the good things are communist. They will believe you. They will believe you. They will be like, oh yeah, I guess that's communists get stuff done. Sure, okay, I'll vote for a communist.
Immigrants, they get the job done.
Yeah, no, I think there's a sort of a reliance on McCarthy era 1950s anti-communist rhetoric that they're really hoping. They keep hitting the anti-communist button, and for a long time that did work. You could call someone a communist and it would be like, I don't know about that, we can't be voting for a communist.
But it was the Red Scare. That's
Yes.
what it was. It was just the
Yes.
Red Scare, and they were telling people, "Hey, don't vote for these communists. They're bad
Yeah.
people." When
But
really they're just people.
they might be socialists, they might be communists, but if they're also getting stuff done, then what's the problem, right?
They're getting
But
things done.
the old like, Hitler stayed in power because he made the trains run on time. It's like that was never true, but it is a compelling argument to be like, well, he is effective, right?
I tell you one thing: German trains are way better than ours. But
They love
I
their
mean,
trains.
as you know about Deutsche Bahn, as my favorite nephew would always say, or one of my favorite nephews, I can't say my favorite nephew, my favorite German nephew would say, Vanya.
Well, yeah, yeah. Um,
Jan does not like the drive. They're always late, and you're like, "This is late."
but and I think that's an interesting conversation because Deutsche Bahn is a private public partnership. It's privately owned, publicly operated, or the other way around, right? What I don't actually know their ownership structure, but it used to be state
Private
owned,
public.
and now they're like a private
Yeah.
company.
So since they've gone to being a privately held company, they've become less efficient, is what many people say. The trains are slower, but like, let's be very real. So Deutsche Bahn runs from, it goes from like Germany down to Italy
Hmm.
to Greece. It even operates a portion that goes into,
Well, it's part of a rail network, right? They're not all Deutsche Bahn. It's like whatever
no, no,
France's network and
no, but the Deutsche Bahn
Eurail,
itself.
right? Eurail.
Well, the Eurail is part of a network, but
Yeah.
Deutsche Bahn does go to those countries sometimes. So they go into France, right? But once you're
Hmm.
in France, you have to this is so strange. Once you're in France, you then have to transfer to a French one if you're just going through France. But for me, like, so when I would go to Spain, I'd have to get on the Deutsche Bahn into France, into Paris, and then from Paris I'd get on IR something, which is just
Sure.
the Spanish run company.
So, but it's interesting because you're talking about this Mondami coming sort of power, people
Oh yes,
crying about him,
yeah.
but it ties back into the rail in some way because that is a sort of interesting public-private partnership.
I,
And
I I think the rail system. So like in Spain, it is I believe a socialist system with the train.
yeah, sure,
It is a public good,
yeah,
and
which
those
I would even push back to say that's socialist. It's like, oh, the government owns this. That's socialism. It's like, okay, I think a lot of governments own stuff. I think it's people paint themselves in a corner by saying good things are socialist, right?
well, there's a lot of good things that are socialist. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things that are bad that are socialist, like socialist leaders.
Exclusively socialist, I guess is what I mean to say.
Yeah. But in America, we confuse socialism and communism and
Oh yeah,
Marxism.
I
Like,
probably couldn't explain the difference myself. You'd be like, oh, socialism is um, when people do stuff I don't like.
well,
That's my understanding, my popular understanding.
well, I can explain socialism relatively quickly versus
Okay,
communism versus Marxism versus capitalism.
sure.
Capitalism is the belief that people have the right to um, receive all the information to make an informed decision, and then the markets will act accordingly. People was one of the key words that many capitalists have forgotten about, is that the people need to be given all information to make an informed decision.
Sounds idealistic. Sounds unrealistic.
Yeah. Socialism operates on the belief that everything is for the shared good of the benefit of the many, and that if it is a public good, then it must be enacted. If it is like healthcare, education, rail lines, those things are the public good, and then they must be funded through their government, while still allowing people who collectively work together to share into profits.
Interesting. Very
In
interesting.
Spain, there is a town in the north of Spain, outside of Bilbao, I believe, that actually operates to this day the same way. They have a factory. The people of the town own the factory. It's like a mining or something like that. And then they share in the profits. So the town itself, very well funded. And, oh, by the way, your land and your house are free.
That is
because
interesting. So, quick
because
aside, is the Green Bay Packers being state owned? Is that socialism?
it's not necessarily state owned. It is still partly private and public at the same time. So
Gotcha.
there's a majority shares that are left to the owner, but the minority shares are left to the people of
Hmm.
the town. And so the people own the city, and the state own the government, the building, the facility, Lambeau Field. The majority owners are then given permitted powers to manage and run the team as they see fit, and the people ultimately get to vote on if it ever leaves. And in order to leave, you need like 51.8% or 55%.
Can
So
they vote off the owner? Like, can they
um,
vote the owner to sell? Like, yeah, you have to sell.
they
You suck.
they have the authority to encourage the NFL to force a sell.
Okay,
So
this is interesting.
so only
Okay,
NFL owners can agree to a sell of a team.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, no, I mean, I thought your explanation of socialism was actually pretty cogent. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
So capitalism, socialism, communism is the fact that we all share in everything, except
Hmm.
our leadership gets to determine how we share in everything. And so that is difficult because leadership oftentimes become more wealthy in those environments.
And
In
under
Marxism,
capitalism too.
yeah. And Marxism is everything for everybody all the time. We all work as one, but it never works out.
Okay, well, I don't really love your explanation of that, partially because I think it's not true. I think it's not accurate. But I do appreciate you putting your explanation out there.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But
I'm not
but
against the
speaking of
perspective.
the rise of social communism, Muslimic woke style jihad, um, it seems like there's a lot of progressives, DSA members, DSA being Democratic Socialists of America, DSA associated people who are winning primaries and perhaps even races all across the country.
There we go. Back to the subject that we were trying to get to was
I think we're circling it. We're doing some subject matter
well,
explanation.
yes. So I think Mondami is in the news because of I don't want to call her Jenny Wong, but
Oh, Brain, you want to help me out here? No, I know who you're talking about.
Jane.
The Wisconsin
Yes.
gubernatorial race.
Yeah. So the gubernatorial race. So the chosen candidate was an African
Francesca
American,
Francesca Hong
yeah, Francesca Hong, but the chosen candidate was an African American male who
Mandela
then
Barnes.
yes, who's the lieutenant governor, I believe.
I can't quite remember. Yes, go on.
Yes, he might have been the lieutenant governor or something along those lines. And he basically was forced out of the race because of the same thing that happened to Graham Plattner.
Yeah, well, it was. I think it was slightly different because the implication was that he was using his position to, I don't know the language, but to entice
The Me Too
young
movement.
staffers to sleep with him.
Again, I go back to the Me Too movement. This is just the residual effects. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are, what you say. The minute that a woman feels that you used your authority or your power to get women to sleep with you, just becomes like kind of the narrative. And so
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know very much.
I'm not here to defend whatever he did. I didn't
Yeah.
particularly love him anyway, so no love lost here.
And again, I don't say either here nor there. I'm just saying that the fact is that he was accused of something. He said he didn't do it, but ultimately, he dropped out of the
He
race.
dropped out before it blew up, basically.
Yeah. And it's happened a lot to Democrats. It's also happening to Republicans right now, where a sitting senator from Ohio, his son-in-law, former son-in-law, is the congressperson
Yeah,
in
you're
the
talking about
district.
Bernie Moreno and what was the fellow's name? Alex. Is it Alex? The psycho, the son-in-law.
I can't remember his name right
I
now.
I can look it up while you're telling the narrative. I'll get the name.
Yeah. And so the Senator Moreno says that his former son-in-law is unfit to serve,
Now,
while at the same time, that was the man that helped him get elected. I mean, your father-in-law is a senator, you're a congressman, your daughter is, saying that, you were abused. The husband says that he didn't,
That may have broke his daughter's collarbone.
Yes, he may have broke his daughter's collarbone.
Mac,
So there's still
Max Miller, Representative Max Miller.
Max Miller. And so we're seeing this kind of ideology around the construct of men that is always, painted in a much different way. I mean, Amy Klobuchar still has her seat, and it's because she didn't make them sleep with her.
Amy Klobuchar.
She just made somebody shave her legs, which is absolutely disgusting.
And may have hit someone with a binder.
Again, those things are allowed. A man may be potentially using his power to sleep with somebody. No bueno for Democrats. For Republicans, it's
I mean, especially for Republicans, they literally have a accused pedophile as president. So
yeah,
I don't know what to say.
He's at least convicted of
sexual assault
for Eugene's what's his name?
Yeah.
Eugene Carroll.
Not criminally, civilly though, but still.
Yeah, civilly.
Anytime someone wants to bring up, this and that, it's like, I'm sorry, Trump is president. Shut up. That's honestly how I feel.
And so now we're looking at like two different ends of the spectrum. One party that absolutely has an issue with its base, but at the same time, its base will not vote for it. The other party has a problem with its base, but its base will always vote for it. And what I'm come to realize here is that the Democrats, and I'm going to speak as a black man, okay, I'm not going to speak in any other demographic, but black people have historically, since LBJ, voted for the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
there's a
specifically because of
LBJ.
Specifically because of the civil rights movement, really.
Yes. LBJ says we give the African black people this, the N-words this, and they'll vote for us for the next 100 years. And primarily African Americans, black people in America, black Americans have voted with that population. Let me just say black Americans, not black immigrants, but black Americans.
Sure.
And minority populations have always swayed in two different directions.
And I just want to circle back. The people who experienced the civil rights movement and experienced that are lockstep. If you look at anyone who's 70, 60 years old, a black 70-year-old, 60-year-old, lockstep with the Democrats. Younger black voters are more changeable. They didn't experience that in the same way. Well, they don't have that same what have you done for me lately, which is a very fair thing.
Which is. But we look at the black American as someone that would still vote Democratic oftentimes.
Yes. I was just checking. Trump started out with 5%, moved up to 8% in 2020, and got I think it was about 14 or 15% in 2024 of black vote.
And again, that's fine. Democrats should have to work harder for black votes.
I think they shouldn't be able to assume they're going to get it.
Donald Trump got 56% of Latino Americans. And as I always said, and I put it on this TikTok before, I said, hey, when those Latinos were voting for Trump, what immigrants did they think they were going to come after? Was it me? Because I don't think they were coming after me.
I mean, there's a certain amount of leopard eating my face type of politics there where I feel bad that it's happening, and I don't want to gloat, but I definitely think of like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. When the Muslim population in Dearborn, Michigan were we're not going to vote for the Democrat in this next election, it's like, okay, now.
I guess I'm more sympathetic to that. I think they had a point. They were right.
Again, they decided that it was better to have Trump than it was to
No,
have.
they didn't.
Well, they sat
Kamala
out.
did. She decided it was better to have Trump.
Again, you and I have talked about this in the past.
Of course. I think it's an interesting conversation.
If a group decides not to engage in the election, they are complicit in what comes up next.
I would say the politicians who lost those voters are more responsible than the voters themselves. But
the black population will vote for that person. They'll just go vote for them.
Yeah, but even black votes were somewhat suppressed from the last election. So
yeah, but we're still talking about 14%.
Yeah, I'm not saying overall percentages, I mean total numbers.
Yeah. And so the Republicans, they'll still vote. They'll vote for Trump. They'll vote for any Republican that is on the ticket because they hate Democrats that much. Democrats do not hate Republicans that much yet.
They don't hate Republicans enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so I think, and when we talk about Black Americans being blamed oftentimes, Black Americans are the only voting bloc that Democrats can rely on.
And I think it's completely ridiculous. Because if you're like, oh, 15% of Black people voted for Trump, don't look up what percentage of white people voted for Trump. If you want to play the point fingers blame game, don't look that number up. You will not be
70%.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so a vast majority of white people voted for Trump, and you want to freak out about an increase of a few percent of Black people, which again, I think it's very incumbent on a politician to win votes and not to expect them.
Yeah.
Offer them something. When you don't and you lose, it's your fault. I blame you.
I blame you too.
But yeah, I think this moment we're in, it's to be seen how far it will go. There's a lot of progressive momentum of people who want winners, and I think that's the fighters and winners, and I think that's the more key important part. Even as I'm loving what they're talking about, these people pushing, Medicare for all, they're pushing no more endless wars, all these different things. I think people are excited about the subject matter, but they're equally or even more excited that someone is fighting back. And I think that's been a big criticism of Democrats of the James Carville strategy of lay down and take it.
Okay, so let's talk about that right there. James Carville.
Old Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah. So James Carville is the Democratic strategist who helped get Clinton elected.
How many years ago was that?
Was it
older than me, I think.
It's 33 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
32, 34
been
years
a while.
Ago. So almost 40 years ago, this guy helped get Bill Clinton elected, who passed bills that were like the Crime Act and all sorts of things.
Yeah, a lot of bad things. And the reason Democrats are so bad these days, I would say, is the wake of that.
One reason that the crime bill passed was because they painted, the Black caucus in the Congress voted for these bills.
Mm-hmm. They've been subsumed.
And so this is where I look at the world in this very straightforward approach. Did you do something to harm people? Yes. Did you do it under the auspice of, we're just trying to, make America safer? Yeah. Did this harm irrevocably hurt families? Absolutely. So then why are you blaming a population of people who historically were disenfranchised by the Democratic policies for Republican issues? I don't think it's always Republican. I don't think it's always Democrat. I think what it comes down to is very bad politicians think they know better than everyday people, especially now when we say, hey, what's the message that's resonating to get the Mandamis elected, to get the Dr. Abdul Saeed?
Yep. In Michigan.
In Michigan. What's getting, I keep wanting to call her Jenny Wong, but it's not her name.
Francesca
Hong. Yeah. Francesca Hong. Okay. What is making people want to vote for Francesca Hahn, a far left person? What is the thing that makes people say the DSA is bad, but yet the DSA is not the political party of these individuals? The DSA is like no different than the Tea Party.
Sure.
Nothing is wrong fundamentally with some of the things they say. Like if you say, I don't want capitalism to be the majority of my country.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, they're socialists. But I'm like, but isn't Trump controlling interest in companies like Intel?
That's a very good point. That's an incredibly good point.
Millions of dollars.
And I honestly, it's very frustrating because it's similar to like Nixon opening up relations with China. Only he can do that. If Johnson would have done that, it'd be like, he's a communist sympathizer. He's giving in to the communists.
Yeah.
Nixon does it. It's a brave and intelligent move.
I am not a crook. I am not a crook.
Very good.
I am not a crook. Only I can do this. Only I can do this. And
Nailed
that's
it.
why us Republicans need to privatize healthcare insurance.
Ironically,
What?
Nixon would be a lib now. He'd be like, "You're creating the EPA." Ugh.
Yeah, but he also was the one who took away like healthcare and
Mm,
privatized it.
hmm It was the start. It was the beginning of the fall.
He's also the guy who took away the gold standard and backed us by debt, which eventually led to
Okay, the gold
financial
standard was
crisis.
BS. Not to get in Nixonian. I just brought him up as an aside. I didn't want to get into Nixonian things. I
I'm
didn't
not
want
getting
to.
into Nixonian things. I'm thinking about all the things we complain about is the direct effect of bad politicians in
Sure,
years past
sure.
because they're
No, but
looking in the moment.
I thought your point of like why are people going for these in years past would have been considered radical politicians, right? You
Yeah,
can't say that. You can't
yeah,
say that you won't give money to Israel. Kiss the wall.
yeah. I'm not gonna write a letter and kiss a wall. Like it's just not what I would do. I might pray in front of it, but I'm not gonna do that. Um, it's not okay that we as a society and as a nation have fallen back to like, are you a D or a R? I mean, it's so stupid. In Maryland,
hmm
Maryland just recently had a special session to get a voter initiative on the ballot because we don't do ballot, get signatures here in Maryland
Okay.
except to repeal the law.
Yeah.
But in Maryland, they spent their legislative special session not addressing affordability, not addressing travel or highways or roads or bridges. They just did it to put a ballot initiative over how the redistricting would happen. And
Oh,
one of
okay.
the things the Republicans asked for was, can we have a nonpartisan independent group from outside the state put together our maps? And the Maryland legislature said, no, no, we're not doing that until all the states do it. It's like, well, hold on. Republicans say to do the thing you wanted to do 10 years ago, and now you don't want to do it. But
Well, not to argue, get into something I don't know that much about. I would say that's just unilateral disarmament, right?
yeah,
You have to. Everybody has to do it. We all have to set down our guns and say, okay, we're not going to shoot. But when you're like, hey, I'm taking my gun out, taking everything, I'm taking the clipazine out, I'm setting it down, you're taking away this pushback to the Republicans being like, no, screw you. We are going to gerrymander the hell out of this. We're getting as many gerrymandered districts out of this as we can. It's like, okay, I think we should fight fire with fire on that.
well,
Personally,
Maryland only has one Republican district.
get rid of it,
They just
throw it in
have
the
to.
trash.
And they're like, well, it doesn't have to be touching. It can be anywhere. I'm like, well, why would you do all that?
Crack and hack that thing apart. I say, screw them.
But you're also going to be disenfranchising people later on. And it's the same
Yeah,
thing with
no, it's
Republicans.
bad. No, I just wanted to say, I think it's bad. I think it is obviously unfair, but it's the times we're in right now. It's unfortunately the Republicans have decided, and Democrats were deciding it too, but Republicans have decided this is how they're going to remain in power despite their unpopularity. And I think if we concede to the fact that it is unfair and that we won't do it, but sure they can do it, I think taking the moral high ground is a lot less than winning.
I'm not about moral high ground.
Okay,
I'm about doing what is right. It's not morally right. It's just the right thing to do.
sure, I agree.
And I think being in agreement with Republicans saying that is not bad and we shouldn't dispel or poo-poo them. I think we should say, yeah, you're right. Here's our fix. Let's
I'm
all do
galled.
this together.
I'm a little galled that they're trying to pull it though. I guess that's why, because it's not like they're advocating that in Republican held states. Like, hey guys, we need to stop doing this. They don't give a they don't care.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Republicans being it does suck to be the minority party and being put upon and beat up. Stop doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Republicans, Democrats stop doing it to each other.
Yeah, I would
But
say
but they're not because everyone is controlled by allegiances. But let's get to Abdul Sahid. All
yes.
right, let's get to him.
Sure.
Because he caused a thunderstorm after $30 million was spent to defeat him.
Oh, and I just want to be explicit. I think the total number was 70 of outside spending, and 32 of that was from APAC alone. The largest
And so now
expenditure on a primary ever.
and now APAC is now backing the Republican candidate
Surprise!
after supporting the Democratic candidate.
APAC. I just want to, for listeners at home, if you're not aware, APAC. What does it stand for? It's the Israel lobby, but it's
American
specifically Israeli American, um,
American Israeli
American Israeli. Sorry, APAC.
Political Action Committee. That's what APAC is.
It is a right wing pack that specifically supports Israel and the
Yes.
Israeli agenda
And not
in American politics.
is not required to list itself as a foreign nationalist organization.
Because technically the dickheads and morons and demons who give money to it are not Israeli, although
They are.
they're not
Miriam Edelson is an Israeli American.
Yes, yeah, they are technically legally Americans.
She's born in Israel, raised in Israel, gives all of her money to Israel, just profits off of the Americans.
Cares only about Israel, even.
And only profits off of Americans. She takes your hard working money and then you go to a casino and then she spends it supporting genocide.
Famously, her demon husband, also was it an NBA team?
Huh?
He owned an NBA team.
The Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, I'm not aware. Anyway.
He was the one who had the black girlfriend.
Yeah, if you want to haunt your dreams, look up a picture of him before he died.
And he called black people the N-word. It's just absolutely absurd things.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But we're talking about, like, this is America today. Like, we don't have a government for the people, by the people, and with the people. It is for whoever is the highest bidder.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying about Mondami and the reason he's so popular is because he's showing that it is possible to do good things for people who don't have a huge lobbying fund and to do it quickly. And that's showing government can be limber and quick to respond to people's needs and desires, right?
Yeah. And Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, said it very clearly. She put it out there. She goes, I can see why people are voting for these because they're voting for the issues that bother them. It is 100% about, hey, can I afford healthcare? No. Can I afford a house? No.
Yeah.
Can I afford groceries? No. Can I afford to take my kid to childcare? No. All
Can you
the things that people
afford minor luxuries, going to the movies, going on a mild vacation to the, somewhere nice but local. No, you can't.
Can't do anything.
Sorry.
I know a lot of people this year said that the price of the price of going to Disney in Asia is cheaper than actually going to Disney while you're an American here?
That's crazy.
You spend less money on hotels and flights and tickets than you would just going down to Florida.
Yeah, I've got a friend going to Disneyland in California, and it's like I think $200 a day for an adult ticket, and that's with no extras, no line skipping, all the fast pass stuff.
And now also count in the airline tickets or travel time, and
you have to stay in Anaheim.
$150 to $300 a night.
Yeah,
you're talking about exceptionally amount of money, so you can go for a day or two.
Yeah,
and that's not even a vacation.
Yeah. So, I think you're what you were saying about Abdul Al Sayed. He just won the Michigan primary in a squeaker. I think it was just about a percent point above Haley Stevens, who received over 70 million of outside money.
1.2 million to 70 million.
Yeah, he was.
Seems like the voters just said no.
Yeah. It was a nice seeing the many win against the money because she spent and spent and spent. But to her credit, when she lost,
she 100% endorsed him.
She turned around and said, fair's fair. He won. A Republican not win this seat. I support him 100%.
Which
I respect. I honestly, I didn't expect it. I expected there to be a lot of like, we can't let a progressive win because that will send the wrong message to people that this could happen anywhere.
I tell you what, she bought herself a lot of political grace now.
I think it was a very intelligent political decision that I would not have expected if you asked me 2 weeks ago I would have been like, maybe tacitly she'd be like, okay, sure, he won. But the fact that she has gone a little, I think, above to actually explicitly endorse him and say, hey, I will do whatever it needs to be done to get him into this seat. I respect that. I respect that a lot.
Yeah. And here's my takeaway with all this, Eli. Fuck Democrats and fuck Republicans.
Sure.
I think if America is going to survive another 250 years, it has to stop voting based off of the R and the D and start voting based off of the individuals. We need open primaries across the country.
I'm not for open primaries, but I would say put the policy in the bag, right?
I think open primaries, I'm all for.
We started this off by
at least ranked choice primaries.
Yeah, no, I could be for that. But we started this off by talking about land acknowledgements and all this woke one type of stuff that was very silly, performative, and I think
Why
if
liberalism
people
like Oregon?
if people say put the policy in the bag, meaning like, okay, sure, you said all the nice words. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you actually doing? You said the right words. That's great. We love it. What are you doing?
What have you done?
Yeah, what have you actually done?
for
What are you
labor?
fighting for? What are you actually pushing for? And you can't just do lip service like we've been accepted for the last, so many years of being like, oh, he said the right things. He said he's all for the right things. It's like, great. What are you doing though?
And we've done nothing.
Yeah, and I think people, again, the Mondami was going viral. There was people videotaping like a hole in the road, like a pothole, and be like, Mondami, we need you to fix this. And the guy's coming back home from work and the pothole's been filled. And he's freaking out because it's like, wait, you didn't have to fill out a form and wait 6 weeks and then see if you got denied. And it's like, no, hey, yeah, that is an issue. We should fix that. We should be responsive to what our citizens are asking us to do when it's reasonable and doable, right?
Yeah, stop telling me it's on backfill. Oh, our backlog. We have so much backlog. It's like, yeah, why don't you go assess it?
Yeah. Sorry,
Assess-
good things aren't possible. You deserve less. Has been kind of a implied thing, right? It's like, we would love to do the good things, but it's just not possible. Sorry. Ooh.
Because we operate, and in my time working in government out in Oregon and in Maryland, it says, and across the country in Florida, it's like we spend more time worried about the procedure instead of getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, you can have procedures, but if they're not functioning, then that's the problem, right?
We
You're
have
like
procedures that are outdated.
Yeah. No.
Oregon was the last city in America to
Oregon?
give up its
Portland?
was to give up its last commissioner base, and the commissioners ran agencies. Wait a second, we've got idiots running agencies who then appoint their friends in the position.
Yeah,
of
and
authority.
then every time they get an election, they get to hand out the agencies to whoever. Not it is a very strange thing.
Yeah, it was the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
It was like the person running agriculture. I'm just making it up, by the way.
Yeah.
There's
So-
agriculture.
Well, you get first people who are very good at the job, and then people who are very poor at it, or people who again, continuously with the police department just let them do whatever they want.
Or you look at somebody like budgeting, right? The last budgeting director did not have a finance degree, did not actually work in the budgeting format. They were effectively just somebody that was in someone else's office as their government liaison, and then they moved them over there to be a director. Like, why? Well, she was good when she was with me at managing my campaign finances. That's like $100, $200, $300,000. That's not $13 million. That's not $80 million. That's not
Sure.
that's not an $8 billion budget for a city.
Yeah.
That was just your office and your campaign. It does not equate.
And what you're saying is these outdated, modes were procedural, they were correct, they were by the book, and they were bad. They didn't
terrible.
work. They were not
terrible.
serving the public well.
It served somebody's own political ambitions.
Yes.
And then there was a black woman, Joanne
Hardesty?
who they were more worried about her debt from a campaign.
Yeah. And it was not a significant, it was like, was it like $10,000 or 13?
It was like it was like 10 or 20 grand.
It was like in politics, a very comically small amount of money to be like, this is an issue. It's like, you don't care about that. You don't really care. You're just using it as a weapon. It's very cynical.
You just didn't like a black woman.
Yes. Yeah. She was, and not just a black woman, because I think there are plenty of black politicians who are party apparatchik. They will go along with the party. I'm thinking of the guy from South Carolina who I can't stand. What's his face? Yes. But she was a progressive and a radical, and they did not like that. They did not like that.
And as someone that had to work for her, she wasn't radical.
Oh, I don't use radical as a pejorative. I mean,
Yeah,
she was not a party line follower. She was not insane.
she
Not in,
wasn't a trust fund Ted baby. I mean, they're
yes.
all Democrats, right? That's why I'm using a Democratic city is because all Democrats are not the same.
Yes.
Like
No, that's
Democrats,
correct.
they will eat and consume each other. In the city of Baltimore, a good friend of mine, Stephanie Smith, great legislator, great person, great attorney, great mind. She lost to a person who I don't even think has a college degree.
Hmm.
Why? Because the sitting senator, Corey McCray, didn't like her.
Yeah.
He wanted somebody he can control.
Yeah. When politics are
What?
personal, that's when you're like, wait a second, this isn't about achieving things. It's about putting your friends in power, and that's
Yeah.
a rot that needs to be tamped down at least, right?
And Republicans do the same thing. They're
Of
willing to
course.
have a person who is alleged to
Uh,
have beaten his wife.
yeah. And no one wants to talk about it. No one's like, that's abhorrent. I mean, Bernie Moreno apparently is gay. That's why he wasn't coming out to talk about it. That's the rumor, at least. Um,
Whatever.
and and I've already forgotten his name. I already looked it up. The fellow
Miller.
who what was that?
His son Miller.
Miller. Yeah.
His
He
son-in-law.
apparently was very like it was not subtle. Him threatening to be like this very embarrassing private matter. Is the reason he wasn't talking about it. It's like he's all but
I
saying
wouldn't.
it.
I wouldn't care though. I think.
But
I think Republicans would be like whatever.
oh, if he
Because he
was
does.
gay,
If he was gay right now, I don't think Republicans would say anything.
yeah, I don't know. I
They
can't
wouldn't.
say.
I don't think they'd say anything because he's not on the ballot.
Well, he's not on the ballot, but also he didn't say anything because he was afraid to talk about that, despite his own daughter being emotionally and seemingly physically abused.
But I
Um,
think once again, I think the Republicans would say less about him being gay if that came out because he's not on the ballot because that would then hurt the Republican Party across the
yeah, they
board.
wouldn't say anything about it, but they don't. I think they don't like it. But I would also say that
One reason Lady Lindsay went to the grave and they
it,
never even brought it up. Ladybug.
yeah. Ugh. But yeah, but I think it is interesting that he was more willing to go with the party line, and that was a kind of a point I wanted to hit on with Abdul Al Saeed, not in the same subject matter at all, but he was going with the party line despite a really very obvious reason to be like, yeah, this guy sucks, don't vote for him. Like I don't
Yeah.
care if he's a Republican, he's awful, he's a psycho.
Yeah.
But
They're like, oh, Abdul Zahid,
yeah,
he's
he's gonna do it Muslimic style. He's gonna be communist Muslimically.
and one of the things they went on him at his election speech is he's like, thanks be to God. The Pope said that before. It's like, so he spoke in Arabic.
Yeah, yeah, they're. I mean, they're. I don't know if you remember, like post 9/11, anti-Muslim, anti-Arabic sentiment, where it'd be like, "Oh, Abdul, I'm up. I'm not even doing the racism right. What's the God is great? I'm right now.
Shamdu Allah.
No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Anyway, you'd be like, he's saying this thing is scary. It's be like, oh, peace be upon him, or something like that. It's like, oh, that's awful. I'm
Oh, that's
terrified.
oh goodness. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot the
Anyway,
Pope said it.
I'm
He
showing my
also said
ignorance.
it.
So, say again.
The Pope said it. Pope
Yeah.
Leo. He said peace be with you in Arabic and everybody was like, see, he's a Muslim.
It's very childish. It's very silly. It's like, why are you afraid of this? This is like, oh, have you never experienced other people saying other things? Like when they do it in
In
Latin or
German.
whatever, you're like,
Like they could say it in German and they wouldn't say anything about
this
it.
is horrifying. I'm terrified. It's like,
Yeah.
why? You're wetting your bed for what? This guy's telling you, hey, I want to give you health care. I want to take money out of politics. I want to, what was the third thing? But he's saying these things that are completely not. You could, even if you don't like him, you're like, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
And instead they're like, oh, Trump did like he put a post of him and his wife, and they're like, and then Abdul and his wife, and they're like, these are two different versions of America or something like that. It's like, and then
Yeah.
Abdul hit,
One's a rich white guy, the other one's a doctor.
yeah, and the guy
A public
Abdul,
health doctor, by the
yeah,
way, not like a surgeon.
yeah, yeah,
Or
and Abdul hit back. It's like, yeah, me and my wife love each other.
he
He's
said,
he's been Trump said he was full of shit. Abdul was like, well, at least I don't let it go in the Oval Office. It's like he's just he, yeah, it's classy, it's funny. I'm like, this guy Oh my God, please let him be a senator. He's a
Yeah.
fighter.
Now here's my take on this though, because I want to I want to be respectful, but I also want to make sure that it's very well held up and that it's affirming. We are seeing more people of immigrant status elected into the Senate and the U.S. Congress,
Well,
Democrats
he's
and
not an immigrant,
Republicans.
but I understand your point.
Yeah,
His parents were.
his parents were first generation, and we see less and less Black Americans. But there was a study recently done by the internet that said, well, what if we had population percentages, right? Each percentage of the population was actually represented in the government, and they
Like
said we would
a
need
legal
13%.
requirement to have it that way.
They were just saying if we
Okay, it was
did.
just a suggest. I understand. Yeah,
Somebody was just talking about it. So if we did, they were like, how many Republicans would need to be Black, Latino, or other to make the balance happen?
yeah.
It's like 88%. They would need 88% of their current caucus to change to reflect the American demographic population.
And that goes back to my point about gerrymandering is they gerrymander the hell out of this house. There's a lot of black people who would not vote for them, but for the fact that they don't really get a voice. Their voices are silenced, which I think is pretty crappy,
Yeah.
and I don't know why it's legally allowed.
I don't think there's any place. Here's what I would do. Eli, this sounds hysterical, but I would give a kid a crayon and say, hey, kid, just draw a couple lines. You have 7 lines. You got to draw 7 lines that all connect. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I would rather have a 7-year-old with a crayon create
it would
districts.
likely be more fair because they wouldn't
It
have a
would
computer
be.
model telling you down to like the address of who voted which way, so you can like draw around it the way they do.
Yeah. They
Um,
just a kid would
if
take a crayon, draw 7 lines, and that'd be the day.
my crazy idea, if we're both saying crazy ideas, my crazy idea is abolish the Senate, use the real estate of the Senate, and just let's say double the amount of representatives.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do that.
Oh, okay. I think
For
there's
all
weight.
case and purposes. But up until 1932, the Senate wasn't even elected.
Yep. They
It was
were
just
voted on by their
their state legislators.
yeah, state legislatures. So yeah, no, it's very incredible. It's always been an undemocratic body.
Yeah.
It's only marginally more so now, but I think it just needs to be gotten rid of all entirely.
I mean,
Um,
Louisiana had a black man that it refused a seat as a senator. Oregon, like multiple times, just refused to seat people they didn't like.
hmm
Like it wasn't even black. It was just like, well, we just don't like this guy, so we're not
Yeah.
going to seat him. And so they'd go without senators for years. For years.
Very cool. But I think sorry, I keep trying to get to my point. I apologize to the viewer at home. My point was that I want to get across. I'm sort of surprised, and pleasantly so, that Democrats have fallen in line. Obama apparently supporting him. Abdul Sayed is who I'm talking about. They're falling in line, pushing for him to become Michigan's next senator.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
they
very
should.
impressed that it is the functions of a working political party to say, hey, we have our disagreements with this guy. He won the primary. We are abiding by what the voters are saying, and we're putting our support behind him.
And I think this is no different than what happened with the Republicans in 2016, 2008 with the Tea Party movement. Is that the Republicans listened to the constituency and they went in a direction. Now, did they go too far? Oh, yeah, but
Yeah, and I mean, even the Tea Party was an astroturfed Koch brothers operation. You know, it wasn't exactly real,
but
but
it moved the party.
it did 100%.
DSA is moving the party, and I
Yes.
think in many ways it is moving them not because they have money, but because they've organized young people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I think you're 100% correct. I agree with that, and I think
There's no money in the DSA, none. But you know what they have? They have people, and who votes? The dog votes. The people vote. The people vote.
yes,
And it's one thing that has always been said. It's like, yeah, land doesn't vote. You can have all these red spotches with 800 people. There's a
Yes.
county. There's a county in Iowa that has 685 people. I think it's like Polk
there's
County.
there's a few counties in Oregon that have a few thousand people. There was the Greater Idaho movement. This is a complete aside, but it was like half the counties have voted for the Greater Idaho movement. It's like
Or
some of the
like
counties
Ben's
have like,
County or something like that.
what was that?
Ben's County or Bent's County.
I couldn't remember them off the top of my head, but some of
It's
the
all the
counties
way
have,
out in eastern Oregon where there's nothing that grows
yes,
there.
yeah, and there's just not a lot there, and it's like a majority of people voted, but it was like a few hundred people, and of that, 52% or something like that had voted to. It's like this is not how. What are you talking about? This isn't a popular movement.
Well, I had a friend when I was out there that told me, he said, bye. Have
Yeah,
fun with
no,
your no tax revenue, your
well,
no
and again,
tax
not to
base.
dunk on this complete nascent movement, it was not going to happen. But even because they tried pushing for it, and it wasn't going to be contiguous because some of the counties had voted no, we don't want to leave, and so ones that were on the Oregon side of what would be the border would be separated from the Idaho side that they'd voted. It was very like this is not going to work, huh?
No, because there were guys. There was one guy. He said that he had land that ran into Greater Idaho,
Yeah,
but he was a resident of another county technically.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Anyway,
no,
it's a complete aside and not really what we're talking about, but it's one of those things where it's like land doesn't vote, and I think
land doesn't
you're
vote. People do.
yes,
DSA, just like the Tea Party, is moving their party towards something that the people would like to see.
yes,
And ultimately, voters are going to start saying, and even conservative voters are starting to recognize, wait a second, I don't want an endless war, and this Trump administration got me into an endless war.
yeah.
I
They
didn't
said
want to. I didn't want to improve the budget. I didn't want to we've added what $18 trillion to our deficit since Trump took back office again. He's doubled it. In 2 administrations, he's doubled our deficit. And
it's horrifying.
people are now waking up to the fact that this guy is a liar,
Yeah.
a god liar.
Who saw that coming? I don't know
Yeah,
how they would have known.
and I know who could say it was coming. Black Americans who overwhelmingly voted for the Democrat, didn't
Yes.
care if she was barely competent or not, didn't care if she had great ideas or not. They were like, look, this other guy, bad for everybody.
Yes.
We're not doing it. And this goes back to what I wanted to, what we started this thing off almost effectively saying is, you cannot have people in a party who think that they know better than the people who vote for that party.
Yes.
Stop with the elitism.
Yeah.
The rich
No, rolling
guy
up
does
the
not get to decide what I need in my backyard.
newspaper and saying, "Hey, you bad voter, you can't do that." It's like that's not how this works.
Yeah, you
We,
work for
we've
me.
we've switched the horse in the cart. Like we are the ones you're supposed to represent, and I think we've gotten so far away from that, and people's expectations of politicians have come so far away from that. They're now sort of surprised when people are like, "You want me to do something?" What was there was one rep, people were saying you weren't pushing back against ICE enough. And he's like, I'm the representative. You're the voter. If you want me to do something, you should take the job. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Someone
Yeah,
should
we
vote
will.
you out. You should be,
We
you should
will
lose your
vote you out.
job.
Take you out. I don't care.
You are not doing what people are asking you to do. And you cannot be like, you can't make me. It's like, okay, then leave. Bye. Don't be
Rome fell
surprised.
not because Rome was weak. Rome fell because Rome got too big. America, we're getting too big for our own britches.
I think you're not entirely wrong. I think we're definitely when you go further and further away from the structures that held this country together and you undermine them continuously, you can't be surprised when people are going in many different directions. And what I wanted to say about this progressive movement that momentum we're having right now, it's a fragile thing, and I think we're seeing with a state like Michigan or Wisconsin and all these other states that these people, would vote for Trump or vote for, Abdullah Sayed, right? There are those people, and it's like, wait, why is that? They're so politically inconsistent. It's like, no, they want change.
Yeah.
They want someone who says, I will change things. I know things aren't good right now. I will change things.
Obama said, yes, we can change. Yes, we can.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now it's like, no, we're going to just do it.
Yeah, we need to be responsive to that, because if we let Republicans take the wheel and be like, we're going to make sure change happens, but it's demonic. It's hurting people, it's killing people, it's making the world a worse place to be in.
I need the world to be balanced again. I
Yeah,
need rational people in positions of power. I need logical people able to do their jobs
yeah,
effectively. The mark of a great leader is not the leader is able to do all things. The mark of a great leader is able to find the people that are good at what they do and put them in positions where they are being successful. We are not seeing that. We have a road rules character as our director of transportation. We have a private attorney as a as the attorney general.
Attorney General. Yeah,
We have a secretary of commerce that is literally just a lackey and hedge fund junkie who
yeah.
would sell us off just because he's like, oh, we can make money.
The head of the
We're
FBI is a
over leveraged.
podcaster.
Huh?
The head of the FBI is a podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was an attorney too with the FBI.
And his country music star girlfriend, wonderful, beautiful. But yeah, I think people and again, I think the progressive movement is very good because I think it's good in many ways. But what the real attraction is, and what needs to be understood is motion forward, doing something.
Yeah.
And the we mentioned James Carville is like he explicitly at the beginning of the Trump administration said Democrats are going to have to do the hardest thing they ever did, nothing. And it's like that's how we got to this moment now, which I'm thankful. Thank you, James, because I think people saw that and were like, okay, but I want someone who does something.
Yeah.
I want someone who will do literally, please do something. This is unacceptable.
Here's what I say to James Carville.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
You're on your way out, bro. You're
Loser.
You're 80 years old. Bye.
Loser. No,
Donald
I mean like
Trump, later.
Yeah.
All of the 80 plus
it is.
year old
It is.
group,
I got smoke.
I am demanding we have a constitutional convention and that we finally eliminate and we put in the same age restrictions that we have for normal judges, not the Supreme Court apparently, but every other judge, mandatory retirement, 75.
Yeah.
Because at 80, your mental capacity decreases by 10% by nature of just getting old.
Yes. It is just a function.
It's just a function. We're not saying you should be put out the pasture forever.
Yeah, we're not
good.
We're not saying a Brave New World style thing. You have to die above the age of 65. We're not saying that. Explicitly not saying that.
You're just no longer suited scientifically.
Enjoy your golden years. Why do you still want to be driving? Enjoy your golden years. Why do you want to still be in power?
I'm with you. I'm a big fan of, hey man, retirement was supposed to help us create opportunities for the next generation. Instead, we got people that hold on to it till their death.
Mitch McConnell's diligently working from his home on the business of this.
Telling his staffers what he wants done. I'm like,
yeah, they're trying to do a proxy vote. Yeah, that man.
Is this Dianne Feinstein all over again? You're just
it really
around?
Is. Yeah, they're lean over and whisper, just vote yes. You know,
hit the red button. Let me just pick up your hand. Here you go.
Boop.
Red button.
Look, this is what representative democracy is. This is democracy incarnate. But I think people do see that rot and they are disgusted by it. I think probably less so on the Republicans' part, but and you know, to a certain extent Democrats too. Dianne Feinstein died in office, you know.
Died in office.
But I think we're getting more and more fed up of this do nothing gerontocracy that's just cares about the rules, cares about aesthetics, and doesn't care about actually functioning.
Yeah, I'm now 100% on board with like kind of like the no labels party, saying that I don't think necessarily everything that no labels stands for. I think it's that your party has to change with the people, not the other way around.
I can get behind at least that if I'm not a no label supporter. But again, that's why I like DSA. You have to listen to the people.
It's the same concept.
Yes.
DSA just belongs in stronger social programs that uplift the many, as opposed to the capitalism. Because remember, I gave you the definition of capitalism. But in our capitalism, we do not follow that structure. It is all becomes about control for the company, not the control of the people to make the judgments.
Yeah, I'd say capitalism is about the accumulation of wealth. And because of that, there's a natural monopolization because that's the best way to get money is to not have competition. But they say free market competition is very important to capitalism. I won't disagree. I would say that capitalism abhors free market competition, though.
Yeah.
It specifically does not want it.
Well, Eli, on this free market, we're going to have to wrap up because I am sweating over here. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. Check us out next time here on the Keep Moving podcast.
Hey,
My name's Akil, Big Unk, and that's Eli. See ya.